What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic Saturday. Happy holidays to you all that celebrate. Enjoy yourselves and be safe out there. But I am here before I get headed to go visit my brother and participate in the holiday. I will be breaking down the linebackers first and foremost. So we're going to keep this draft series going. Going to finish it up next week, giving you my pick, breaking everything down you need to know, draft pick, cap hits, all that great stuff. But tomorrow, I'm going to get that cornerbacks video out no matter what. But today's going to be a long one. So, oh, man, I'm going to have to get up early. But we got the linebackers here, and this is a very important position. So we're going to break it down here. And this is not a live video, but I would love to hear your thoughts, whether you like someone, you don't like someone I didn't mention. Whatever is on your mind, I'd love to hear it. But just like every show, we break down each position. We look at what the Eagles have at that position, the draft picks they have, then all of the draft prospects at that position, and my top fits. Got 12 here for the linebackers. Some talented guys. This class not uber talented overall, but we'll talk about it here in a little bit. But I think there's definitely some talent to be had. So let's jump right into it. Appreciate all of you taking the time, hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing, all the stuff you're doing to support the channel. Cannot thank you enough. But let's get this bad boy started, and let's take a look at the Eagles draft picks. Have not changed since we started this series, but you've got a first, 2 seconds, a 4, 3 fifths, and a 6. So lots of ammo. We know how he can be trading up, trading back. Anything is possible at any point here. And, you know, when it comes to the linebackers, more of that mid-tier, you're going to be looking. We'll talk about this in a second, how I feel about these linebackers. But wherever they want to go, you've got a plethora of picks here. And yeah, you don't have a third and a seventh this year, but you could definitely acquire one. You've got 22 total picks over the next few years. So do not think that Howie is just all of a sudden going to go to sleep. He will continue doing Howie Roseman things, and that gets me pretty excited. So let's talk about this linebacker position. We knew going into this offseason, we needed some help here, right? And Nakobe Dean, you hope that he continues to develop, stays healthy this season, his first season. Obviously, as a starter last year, gets banged up. That sucks, but you're hopeful. Obviously, we all know, if you're not a casual fan, he's been healthy for all of his career. So that 1 year, unfortunate, but still a lot of hope there for the young man. And we've definitely added to the room, but still some question marks, and rightfully so, due to what's going on. So what I have here is linebacker at number 2. So if you've watched any of these other shows, I explained, this doesn't mean, you know, I think with the first pick, you have to go safety, the second linebacker. This is where I think we need, whether it's a starting caliber guy or depth at that position. That's how I feel about linebacker. And I still feel, you know, you added Devin White, you got Zach Bond, Oren Burks. I think that is fantastic, but I don't know that Nakobe Dean is the future. I'm hopeful that Devin White turns things back around, and I think he will get back to all-pro form. But in case that doesn't happen, you know, you want to be able to look to the future. Now, I don't think the Eagles will. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I think that they'll look at this room and be like, well, good enough. And, you know, you talk about guys like Zach Bond and Brandon Smith, who, you know, are versatile pieces who can help you on the edge as well. But you've also got some of those edge guys that can play a little off ball. So Nolan Smith may dabble there, Terrell Lewis. So you've got guys, Patrick Johnson, who have tried things out, and, you know, versatility is the name in the game. But you could see Bond, that versatile piece. I think he has definitely got a spot here. Burks, a special teams ace who can provide some starting caliber stuff. And you've got Van Sumeren, you know, bright future. You saw what he had done last year, very new to the linebacker position. So love it. Now, Brandon Smith, another one of those tweener prospects where, look, these guys, that's kind of what you're looking for. So I'm hopeful, you know, that this room stays healthy. That's key here. So to me, I would still add to this room. I want to get younger. I want to look to the future, and I don't want to just get by. I want to put, you know, somebody with one of these guys. And hey, maybe it's Nakobe Dean and Devin White for the future. And I'd love that, because Devin White's still very young. So I think that the Eagles, you know, will be looking at that and keeping that in mind. But I would still look for more there. We've seen, you know, what's happened without, and we've seen what's happened when we do have linebackers. So even with guys like TJ Edwards and Kaiser White, like, just, it doesn't have to be superstars, but let's get some talent there. So let's take a look at the talent that is in this draft here, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I don't know that the Eagles use one of their high picks on, you know, any of these linebackers. So I think what you're looking at here is, you know, more of, you know, these guys. And Dude, I'll tell you what. There is so much talent in this draft that it's hard for me. I want to talk about these fits. And let me just show you the list first, and then we'll talk about it. I don't want to give away what I'm going to say here, but those are your day 3, end of day 3, probably undrafted guys. These maybe go from 4 to 6. Maybe somebody sneaks into the 3rd. Maybe these guys drop to the 7th. A lot of those things. I don't think Steel Chambers is as good as a lot of people say. Same with Tommy Eichenberg from Ohio State. These are just my opinion. So whatever you guys feel, you can let me know. But I think there are definitely some talented guys. And one of the fits that I left off, I don't know what happened before I started this show, but Jordan McGee from Temple, one of my top fits, and had his graphic started. Don't know how he didn't get put into the mix, but he will not be a part of the show, unfortunately. But Jared, dude, McGee, let me tell you something. This is somebody that Jordan McGee would be. I think, Temple made. This would be a guy that you get in one of, those mid rounds where I would be all for. But here are your top guys. And I don't think anybody goes in the first round. I've seen a lot of people saying the Eagles need to take one of these guys at 22. I don't think that is the case. I think at 50, 53, maybe you trade back, do all kinds of stuff. But you've got some talented dudes here in Cooper, Wilson, Coulson, Gray, Trotter. A lot of guys that I really like here. And, my top fits, this was a tough one for me because this is my opinion. The Eagles, this is the one where I don't think that they're going to follow along with what I'm about to tell you. So just throwing that out there. But you'll see the bottom end guys are probably more likely in this video. Better fits, I think. But for me, it's a better fit to get a stud to shore up the future. But I digress. Let's talk about it. Number 12 here, we've got Craig Young. Now, this kid played safety at Ohio State, transferred to Kansas, and I thought he looked much better as a linebacker, one of those, tweener type players we talk about all the time, 6'3", 228. And, this is somebody that, with that, coverage ability, that's what we're looking for here with these linebackers. You see a lot of people talking about, oh, this guy's, too skinny, or this guy's too, I don't know if they know what the size of a linebacker is in the NFL today. I think they're stuck looking 20 years ago. I'm not sure if they've watched football anytime recently, but this is around the size. Around 240 is, a good size, but they call it light. So regardless, this dude, he's got that frame, obviously a former safety, so a little bit skinnier, but this is the dude that we talk about in those big nickels with the dime backers, with, those versatile guys that can, cover and actually tackle, can do it all. And I think that, well, he's one of those guys, and you'll see a few of them, but I would not mind taking a shot on Craig Young, whether that be an undrafted pickup. I don't know that he goes drafted, but maybe, with that 6th pick, maybe you trade back, you're in the 7th. I wouldn't be against it. Now up next at number 11, I've got Trevon Wallace, and I'm a fan of all of these guys, but Trevon Wallace, this was tough for me. I like so many of these other guys so much, but man, this dude runs a 4.51 40, and he brings that. Look, you're looking for those guys that can help you in the run, can help you cover, and this is somebody who going to need to work on his coverage, decent at tackling, not much of a pass rush, okay against the run. So he's like a combination of these things, but he's 6'1", 237. His athleticism is off the charts, and I think that this is somebody that you take a shot at. If he goes undrafted, you bring him on, you see what he can do, and you take it from there. I don't think this is somebody you would need to draft, but this is somebody that I think fits the mold of what the Eagles are trying to do. And look, you bring him in here, let him compete with those other back-end guys, help on special teams at first. I think that'd be great for him. And Trevon Wallace is somebody that, I've been keeping my eye on. And, we talk about a lot of this size, it's what you're going to see. So people can call it undersized if they want. Now at number 10, 6'1", 241. That's the range we're looking for. We've got Curtis Jacobs, another guy I feel, he could go drafted. Maybe if you acquire a 7th, you feel like you really like him and want to take him in the 6th, whatever the hell you're thinking there. But I actually like Curtis Jacobs. And I think, I told you, this isn't like the deepest of classes, but there is a lot of guys that I liked. I'm really pissed off. McGee would have been really high on my list. And dude, I just don't have time. I got to get rolling. So I didn't have time to make it. But look, this is a guy where I think he's got really good instincts. I think, he's somebody with the speed he has and the burst he has as a linebacker. That's what you want to see. He can go side to side as a run defender. I think that he's somebody that got to work on his coverage for sure. I want to see coverage, and he's not really great at pass rushing, but I mean, the tools are there. So for me, I am a fan of this kid. And if you want to go in the later rounds, you want to just add someone into the mix, I would be all for adding Curtis Jacobs. Now up next at number 9, I've got myself Jaylen Caray. And this is another guy that former safety, and he's 6'3", 215. So that is quite small, but I've also seen him listed at 225. So I think he's bulking up a little bit, getting in that range of young. So for me, again, one of those guys that could go undrafted where he's got that versatile skill set where you want him. I mean, I don't know. He could be drafted as a safety, a bigger safety, but to me, this is a guy that I think he would shine as one of those versatile pieces in a defense like the Eagles run, the multiple scheme, where you need to be able to be very athletic. You got to be able to cover. You got to be able to move, blitz, tackle against the run, all that stuff. But I just think that, he's going to have to work on his coverage ability, and that's why he's not the greatest, against the safety or as a safety. And I don't think that, he's the fastest guy in the world. So that kind of, kills him as a safety too. He's got a little bit of his awareness, but he runs a 4.5 40. That's great for a linebacker. So this is somebody I could see a team like the Eagles taking a shot on. And again, undrafted pool, I would not be against that at all. Now up next, I've got Cedric Grey. Now this dude, you're going to have to draft him. Don't think he's going undrafted. And I wanted to have him higher on my list. You saw I had him in like the top 5 of these guys, but when it comes to top fits, I think he can do it all. He runs a 4.6 40. That's decent for a linebacker, but I think, he can do everything, and that's a great combination. He can tackle, pass rush. He's good in coverage, good against the run. This is what you want to see, and he's a freak athlete. That's, what I'm looking for, obviously, a lot of the time, but very explosive player. And I think, he is somebody with that athleticism you could use. And, he's got good size, 6'2", 234. Again, don't care what other people say, but he can blitz. He's quick, and 4.64 may not seem, like those other guys I mentioned, but that's good for a linebacker. And I think, he's got a great game, and I think he's got a bright future. But my concern is all of the missed tackles he has from when I'm watching him kind of flies around. I think he just needs to be coached up a little bit. But if you're thinking about taking him maybe with that 4th rounder or one of those 3 5th-round picks you have, I would be all for adding a Cedric Grey. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think the Eagles would be lucky to have him. Now, up next, I've got James Williams here out of Miami, and I'm a fan of this kid too. And this dude, 6'4", pretty tall, but around that 231 size, and he runs a 4.65. Again, that is quick for, these guys. But I've seen him struggle a little bit in tackling, not great pass rush or anything like that, but he's got that athleticism to be great in coverage. Got to work on his run game, though. But this is a dude where I think the same thing where, one of those 5th-round picks, you want to take a shot at him. This is a guy that, started out as a safety. You can just see it from his frame. That is what he is. But he's a great tackler, very physical guy. And I just think that, going to linebacker is huge for him. And I think that, his coverage ability as a linebacker, former safety, this is a dude where I think the sky's the limit for him, and I think he could really be a steal in this draft. So if you find him and, you want to try to, unlock his potential, I am all for it, Philadelphia Eagles. So go ahead and add me some James Williams. But up next, I've got myself Edon Osei. And this dude, he's actually pretty fun to watch. Only 6 foot, but he's 236. 6 years at Washington there. But this dude, a tackling machine. I am actually a big fan of Olafsson. And I think that, this is one of those guys where it's such a weird class that I think, to me, he could definitely get drafted with one of those 5th-round picks, but maybe he drops a little bit. I think people are kind of sleeping on this kid, but dude, his athleticism, he runs a 4.56. He can cover, man. He can tackle. Decent in pass rush. You got to work on his run D, but I think this is somebody that the Eagles, with that athleticism, that size, we talk about how explosive he is. You've noticed, this theme here, but he's great in coverage too, and got good closing speed. So for me, this is a guy that I think could come in and, a versatile guy. Maybe you dabble a little bit with some edge stuff, some off-ball stuff, but I think that this would be a talented dude to add to the mix, and would not be against that at all. Now we're going to get into the top 5 here. And look, man, I'm going to be real with you. I'm a big fan of Junior Coulson here, but I really, I didn't even want to have these guys, like half these guys going on. I was going to have Jordan McGee in my top 5. So I was trying to figure, I really don't know how. I've been putting this together the last 2 days, so I just got twisted. But McGee would be more in your later rounds. This, you're kind of getting closer to, the better half of these guys. So you've already seen one of my top 5. You saw me talk about Cedric Grey with those missed tackles. That's why I've had him drop down here. But Junior Coulson, to me, I've heard some people say some negative things about him I don't know that I truly agree with him against the run. His struggles there. I think he's actually decent against the run. He definitely got to work on some things, but I thought he was pretty good, man. Got a decent pass rush. He's a tackling machine. He's good in coverage. So for me, I don't know why you would shy away from this dude. I think he's pretty damn talented. Now, he runs a 4.58, so you'd think people would flip out about it. But this is a guy where I think you would have to use maybe that, 53 pick. Or maybe, and I don't know that you'd have to. I'm saying if you wanted to get someone like him, because you don't pick again till the 4th. So if you wanted to, I think get a 3rd round pick. Maybe you grab him there. If the linebackers aren't going and these guys are falling, maybe you grab him in the 4th. I would not be against that in any way, shape, or form. I think Junior Coulson is a stud. So I would be all for adding him to this Eagles team. And, when you're looking at a guy like Coulson, dude, with that coverage ability, I don't know what people are talking about. I thought he had great awareness, great tackling. He's got speed. Dude, this is just a guy, good instincts, good in that zone that we're going to be running a lot of. I just think that people are tripping if they don't think this guy is pretty good. I've seen him like a couple struggles, but these are college kids, man. I don't know what people are looking for. Maybe that's why they never get their predictions right, but well, good for them. Now, for me, moving along, this got so hard. Now, I'm not saying that, these guys are better than the prior guy. I'm talking about the best fit. And Maris Leafau, holy hell, I jack it up every time. I honestly wanted to have him number 1 just because I love his effing game so much. And, obviously somebody is going to say in the comments, hey, reminds me of Troy Polamalu. Yeah, he has long hair, dude. We know. But 4.640, I think watching him on tape, he just looks faster. He's all over the place. Now, he definitely needs some development. This is not one of those like top end guys. I think you would take him with one of those 5th round picks. If he's not going, maybe you got to take him in the 4th. But this is a guy that, adds a nice blend of everything. I think, he's a very physical player. And that's what I'm looking for. A linebacker to come in here and be that physical presence. Devin White and Nakobe Dean are not those guys. And I think getting a guy like him, and he can blitz. He can, I mentioned his coverage, but he's just such an aggressive player on, anything he's doing. I just think that this dude, the perfect build, 6'2", 234. I would love to have him. He needs coached up. He definitely needs to learn to be an inside linebacker there. But, just his anticipation, awareness, things that can be coached up. I think he's got all of the tools. Now, he's kind of like that. He'll knock your lights out. So he's got to kind of temper that down, realize how to hit, when to hit. And I think the sky is the limit for this kid. But he does lack a little bit of that speed. The other guys do. But we've already kind of got those type of linebackers. So for me, this would be one of the best fits. And Morris would be, dude, it would be magical to see him in midnight green, him and Sidney Brown on the same defense. That would be getting back to the Doc Trot era. So I'd be all for it. Now, speaking of Trot, well, I've got his son here at number 3. And I know some of you might feel a certain way about that. You want him number 1. That's fine. I've heard a lot of you say we got to take him at 22. I would never do that if I were the Eagles. But I do love Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He runs a 4.640, so a little bit slower than these other guys, but that is still a good speed. Now, he's 6 foot, 228, so you hear the knocks. And if you watch him, he really is small. He does look tiny out there, but I am a fan, and maybe it's me being a homer. I love Trot was one of my favorites, dude. The Axeman. Now we're looking at Axeman Jr. Like, you got to be kidding me, man. But love this dude. And you talk about his size, but I don't give a shit, man. You can tell that Trotter is the one teaching him, because this dude will knock your head off, and he's got great speed. He closes well. He's got that great burst you want to see. He can read the run well. I think that his dad has definitely been in the lab with him. This kid's awareness, he is doing so many things well. He's got that speed to be a blitzer. He's just a really good football player. And you can talk about his size and knocks on him and this, that, the other thing. And yeah, he's going to have to work on some things in the run game. And I think that, you see 29 missed tackles, sure. But just bulk him up, dude, just like they slept on Trot, his dad. I think that this kid is going to be a stud in the NFL. And if it weren't for these other linebackers, he would be my number one. But I'm just a huge fan of these other guys too. And again, I don't think the Eagles, now maybe they get Trotter falls or something and we can grab him, but I'm not sure we're going to take a linebacker high, but I don't care because I want to make this show look like this anyway. I want to put Payton Wilson at number 2 here. And this kid, he's got a severe injury history, and it really, really blows to see that because, my God, if you watch this kid play, he is effing talented. And I just want to throw out here, actually, NC State just reminded me, RIP to Roman Gabriel, former Eagle, former NC State Wolfpack there. But, a lot of, I grew up watching a lot of NC State stuff. What was that basketball player? David West or something? Regardless, NC State, always a sleeper school, but I like watching some of these guys. And let me tell you something. Watching Payton Wilson at 6'4", 233 pounds, and you're noticing a little bit of a trend there, but this dude runs a 4.4340. Holy hell. And I think the sky is the limit for this dude. The injuries, if they're not holding him back, this kid could be, one of those high second-round picks. I don't know anybody would take him in the first, but go watch his tape. But watch how effing quick he is, how his speed when he's getting after the quarterback or just running to the, ball carrier, whoever it is, he's a freak of nature. And that's what I'm looking for, that pursuit. That's what I want to see. He's great in coverage, though, with that, athleticism he has. He's got a high football IQ. Dude, he's a guy that goes out and works, and you hate to see him injured, all that stuff. And we're looking for leaders on this defense. He's got everything you want on this team, but that having an ACL issue like he has, man, that's just, it's unfortunate. And I think he's going to have to bulk up. Now, look, you talk about these kids, they're in college, and obviously, some people, they just look for anything they can. And, he's been in college for 6 years. He's 23 years old, man. I don't think, it's over. What I've seen from him when he's healthy, it would be worth it. If this dude falls into the 4th or, he's there in the 3rd, you want to trade up, go take him. I don't know that the Eagles will take him with one of those second-round picks, but I hope they do. I really do hope that they change their way. And I know we've got some linebackers right now, but we don't know how it's going to pan out. We don't know how some of these veterans are going to do, how some of them are going to stay healthy. Now, I don't know if getting another injury-prone guy is the answer, but he doesn't get thrown into the fire. He's not out here starting. He helps on special teams. You hope he's got a bright future. So that's my thought process for him. And I would be ecstatic if the Eagles drafted Payton Wilson. Now, looking at a guy like number 1 here, Edrian Cooper, this is where I really don't know the Eagles would be able to get him, but 6'2", 230, and you're going to hear how small he is, but I'm going to tell you how much these people aren't watching football. Runs a 4.5140. That is great for a linebacker and got a great blend of everything. But if you've ever watched this dude, he is an elite athlete and knocks people's heads off. I love it, man. Watching how quick he is, his speed, dude, just coming out there, and his coverage ability, all of it. The pass rush, I think he's can be worked on too, and you can bulk him up a little bit. I think he knows how to use his hands. He's a very versatile piece. Maybe want to use him a little bit on the edge as well. We talk about that's what the Eagles are looking for. And this dude, he's an effing playmaker here. 32 missed tackles. Maybe that's a little concerning here, but dude, I'm telling you, these guys just need a little coached up. And 10 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 8 passes deflected, 2 interceptions. And man, this kid, he is a stud. Now, I think that, with the way we run that zone, yes, his versatility is great, but he's going to have to work on that zone coverage. That's something I noticed about, playing in this system. So I don't know that the Eagles do go ahead and take him, but for me, this would be the number 1 fit. And, whether or not, it's Devin White and N'Kobe Dean with Edrian Cooper, you give Coop a year to learn, or he just takes somebody's spot, whatever it may be. I don't know that the Eagles have to go after a linebacker high, but I still have them high on my list because I want them to add some depth to that room if they're not going to add anybody else, which is fine. You don't need like more starters or anything like that necessarily. I want it, but you don't have to. So just keep in mind that I think that the Eagles, they'll probably draft Jordan McGee now that I forgot his graphic, just throwing that out there. But, all those guys, I would be a big fan of getting on the Eagles. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Any of those guys stick out to you? Have you heard about them? You're a fan of that team. You know a lot about them. You want to tell me more about them? Whatever is on your mind, I'd love to hear it. Who is your favorite, least favorite? Anything you got going on up there, and all of the other positions are out except for corner and safety. We'll get into those in the next couple of days, finish it off, be ready for the draft next week. Let's go. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. You can always subscribe, and I appreciate all of you commenting, doing the stuff to help this channel grow. Cannot thank you enough. But I hope you all have a very happy 420. Enjoy your holiday. Stay safe out there. If you need anything, need a friend, feel free, reach out. You're in the Pocono area, stop by. But always here for you guys as you are for me. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Beautiful day out there. But until next time, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great Saturday. Happy 420. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!